Hey, what's up guys? Blake Snodgrass here. Today we're going to talk all about how to get more people to show up to the meetings that they book with you. If you are relatively new to running either paid advertising to generate more appointments for your agency or your consultancy, or maybe new to doing outbound to generate appointments, regardless, if you're starting to ramp up appointment generation for your business for the first time, you need to be able to find the leaks in that system very, very quickly and efficiently. And one of the main leaks you can have that will just waste your advertising dollars or waste your outbound efforts is a low show rate, okay? If you have, let's say, 4 out of 10 or 5 out of 10 or 6 out of 10 people show up to the meetings that they book with you, there are several things you can do to increase that show rate and make sure you're maximizing on your marketing dollars or your marketing efforts and increasing the ROI of those activities. I'm going to get right down to business in this video today, and I'm going to jump straight into the 5 ways to increase the show rate of the appointments that you're booking for your agency or your consultancy. Now, as I go over these 5 things, I'm going to start with what I believe to be the least important and go all the way to the most important. So make sure you stick around to the end of this to make sure you're hearing number 3, number 4, number 5. These are the ones that are going to be super effective. Okay, so let's dive in. Number 1, and again, this is from least important to most important. Number 1 is appointment reminders and automations. Now, it may surprise you that I'm calling that the least important out of these 5 things I'm going to talk about today, but the reality is this is something that you should just have in place from day one, no matter what, just like a checkbox that you knock out, and then you can move on to the other things I'm going to be talking about in this video, number 2, 3, 4, 5, that are more manual, like high leverage type of things to increase show rate. Appointment reminders and automations, these are something you need to set up no matter what, pretty much from day one when you start generating appointments, okay? You need to have appointment reminders that are coming from whatever platform you use. If you use Calendly or Schedule Once or GHL, make sure that whenever someone books a call, they're getting appointment reminders, let's say 24 hours before, an hour before, 15 minutes before. So no matter what, they know through email and text when the appointment is happening. And then of course, you can apply any other automations that you want to, maybe even before they book a call, maybe when they're just an opt-in lead, have an automation that sends them an email and text sequence to try to get them to then book a call, right? But number 1 is appointment reminders and automations. Again, this is just like a base level prerequisite. Get it knocked out, get the automations implemented, get the appointment reminders implemented, and then we can move on to some of the more powerful, impactful tools of increasing show rates I'll be talking about next. So number 2, moving up the ladder, okay, pre-call materials. These are the materials and resources and content and educational bits, etc., that you can send a prospect before the call. So this is between the time they book the call and when the call actually occurs. You, as the owner or a salesperson on your team, can be sending the prospect sales collateral and materials to look over. Now, whenever we talk about lead generation and appointment generation for your marketing agency or your consultancy, what are we really trying to do? If we zoom out and look at this at a bird's eye view, we're trying to what I call manufacture referrals, right? What's the best, hottest lead that you can get as a business owner? It's a referral, right? The issue with referrals and word of mouth is we don't have control over how many referrals we get every single month. So the goal of lead generation and advertising or doing outbound to generate more appointments for you is basically trying to like manufacture synthetic referrals. So if we get a lead in the front door and we get an appointment, the goal now becomes, how do I transform that new, fresh booked appointment that came from possibly cold traffic? How do I transform that into as close to being a referral warmth lead or as hot as a referral as possible before they end up on the call? This is what I'm talking about right here. Number 2 is how you do that. You send them pre-call materials, okay? So an example of this could be a pre-call confirmation page, okay? So the page that someone goes to after they book a call, you should have a confirmation page that talks about what they should expect on the call they're going to have with you, maybe some extra resources and videos, maybe some social proof and case studies and testimonials. That page that they should be seeing anyways after they book a call, save the link to that page and send that to them a day or 2 before their call to make sure they've watched it, right? So you send them an email or text and say something along the lines of, hey Dave, I saw you booked a call for tomorrow, really looking forward to it. In case you missed it, here's a link to our resources page. It has an overview video about what our company does. It has some testimonials and case studies from other people who work with us. It has a list of things to bring to the call. The goal is for that prospect to consume all that content content and information before getting on the call with you. Again, we're trying to transform or morph that person into a referral before they get on the call, or as close to a referral type lead as possible. And that just means them having more face time with you, more face time with your company before the call, aka watching your content, okay? This also involves my other points here, sending them YouTube videos that you have produced and published on specific topics that you may have talked to them about before if you did a triage call or intro call with them, sending them any kind of relevant information that you have that is going to be a bridge between the pain points they have in their business and how you can help solve them. Any relevant information is going to be good, okay? Let's move on to point number 3, which is manual appointment confirmation the morning of, okay? So in my business, if someone comes in as a lead and then they don't book a call, our appointment setter will reach out to them and try to get them to set an actual appointment with us. But if they come in through our funnel and they book a call, well, that's good. They're on the calendar. They're going to get the appointment reminders. We're going to send them the pre-call information, just like I told you about before. But in addition to all of that, our appointment setter or SDR is going to call them the morning of their appointment and try to get a verbal confirmation of the appointment time, okay? So whether it's the appointment setter calling a lead and doing a triage call with them, or it's a self-booking and our appointment setter is calling them the morning of, we want at least one verbal connection and one verbal appointment confirmation before the time of the actual appointment. As you can probably imagine, this really increases the quality of the prospect and moves them up the ladder closer to that referral quality we've been talking about, because they have now had an official conversation with us. They've actually spoken to someone on our team and they have verbally confirmed that they are going to be good at the time of the appointment. Point number 4 kind of goes back to what I just mentioned about our process for an appointment setter calling the leads that are coming in and conducting what we call a triage call or a discovery call with them, okay? So to recap that process once more, in our advertising efforts, someone will see our ad, click on it, see an opt-in page, opt in with their contact information, then they will watch a video and either book with us or not book with us, right? If they don't book with us and it's simply just a lead in our pipeline, our SDR or appointment setter will call them and try to have what we call a triage call. So they will reach out and say, hey Dave, I saw that you filled out your info on our website because you were inquiring about XYZ info about XYZ offer. You got a few minutes to talk about your business? They'll strike up that conversation and conduct the intro call, discovery call, triage call, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be the first out of 2 calls if you do a 2-call close process like us, okay? Now, on that discovery call, there are some specific things that you can say to increase the show rate of the demo call or the actual closing call, the second call they're going to get on, right? So on that triage call, which the appointment setter is conducting, they're going to ask the prospect all about their business, all about their pain points and their desired outcomes, what they've tried, what's failed, what they feel like they need to help push their business forward, etc., right? And then at the end of that call, they are going to try to set the appointment for one of our representatives or one of our closers, right? Now, I'm going to talk about a specific 4-step word track that our appointment setters use to make sure that the prospect is psychologically tied down to showing up to the demo call and making sure they're committed to actually being there and not no-showing us, right? So what we will do is at the end of that intro call, we will ask them what day and time works for a follow-up call or an appointment or a demo call or whatever with one of our actual representatives or on our end, a closer. After they agree to a day and a time, let's say like, Dave, the prospect, says he's good for tomorrow at 2 o'clock. We'll lock that time in and then we'll say something like this. We'll say, seems like we're on the same page. Seems like this is going to help you get to your goal of XYZ and help you overcome, whatever pain point they're having. I have this time free tomorrow at 2 or 3. Does that work? They agree to the time. And they're like, okay, cool. Let's go ahead and get that on the calendar. Before I go ahead and log that into the calendar, and this is the first thing I'll say, are you 100% good to go for that time? And they'll say, hopefully, yes. And number 2, I'll say, okay, cool, awesome. So just to double check, is there any reason at all you wouldn't be able to make it? And they're going to say, hopefully, no, I'm definitely good for that time. And then number 3, I'll then say, okay, awesome. So we got that date down. We got that time down. I'm going to make sure I plan my day around that meeting. That's definitely the most important meeting I'm going to have that day. I'm going to make sure I get all the prerequisite research done to make sure I, bring the adequate data research to the table for you. So we're going to get all that stuff ready for you, okay? And my team's also going to help me in that. My team team's going to do some research and make sure that we have information on your company, your website, and your competitors. So we'll have all that ready for you. Sound good? And I just skimmed through number 3 and number 4 of the word track, which is 3, I'm going to plan my day around it. And number 4, my team's going to start doing research. Okay. So after you go through that 4-step word track, number 1, 100% are you good to go? Number 2, is there any reason why you wouldn't be able to make it? Number 3, I'm going to plan my day around this. And number 4, I'm going to get my team started on doing a bunch of research and making sure we have everything ready to go for you. By the time you get done saying all that to them, I mean, come on. Imagine how much of a jerk they would have to be to not show up to that meeting then. They are really, really emotionally tied down to being at that meeting. And a big part of this is that we have built up reciprocity. We're telling them, hey, I'm planning my day around this. My team's going to do research. We're going to put in the work. Like, we're really invested into this. And so that automatically builds up reciprocity, and they naturally want to show up more. They want to reciprocate that amount of effort as well, okay? And then lastly, number 5, and this is what I view as the most important factor into increasing the show rate of your agency, and it may not be what you think, okay? This is where it all starts. Do you really have a low show rate? That's a big question to ask. Qualifying leads on the front end of your marketing could be resulting in your low show rate. And so in order to fix that show rate, let's go all the way back and look at the quality of your marketing. Now, let me elaborate on this topic a little bit. I will talk to agency owners and they'll come to me and say, hey, I have a really, really low show rate on my appointments, like 50%. Or 40% or whatever. And one of the first questions I'll ask them is like, okay, well, what's your MQL percentage? And most of them don't know what I mean by that. MQL stands for marketing qualified lead. What I'm asking when I ask that question is, what percentage of your front end opt-in leads are qualified according to the questions that they answered? Or it might not just be front end leads, it could be actual booked appointments. What percentage of your booked appointments are qualified according to the answers they gave, right? If you're running advertising or doing outbound and booking appointments on your calendar, whenever they book the appointment, you should be asking certain qualifying questions, such as what's your main service? What type of company do you own? Such as what's your main service and what's your revenue level, etc. And you should be able to see just from those form fills if they are qualified or not. Okay, so if I talk to an agency owner and they say, hey, my show rate is terrible, and I say, hey, what's your MQL percentage? And let's say we get into that topic and they finally figure out that their MQL percentage is like 50%. Well, this is a marketing issue, not a show rate issue. That person can go tinker with all the appointment reminders and automations and sending pre-call information and everything all they want, but their show rate is going to stay low until they fix the MQL percentage rate. So this is why I'm calling this like the biggest topic, the biggest lever you can pull when it comes to increasing show rate. It's all about increasing the quality of your front end applicants, increasing that MQL rate. Now, how can we do that? This is a totally different topic for a different video because I could go way into the weeds on this, but it all comes down to the way you talk to your prospects through your marketing, like your messaging. Are you, through your copy and through your scripting, qualifying your target market and disqualifying the lower end of your target market to make sure you're only attracting the higher quality prospects? Are you making sure that in your funnels and in your appointment booking system, you're saying very blatant, obvious things like, hey, do not book a call if you are not XYZ type of business? All of the effort that goes into the messaging of your front end marketing is going to help increase the MQL percentage, which naturally is going to vastly increase the show rate, because now we're not trying to take low-end prospects and get them to show up, which is really difficult. We're taking high-quality prospects and getting them to show up, which if they truly are high-quality prospects, they should already be showing up at a high rate. And so now we're not going from a 40% show rate and trying to get it up to an 80%. Now we're just trying to go from like 70% to 80% or 75% to 85%, okay? Hope that all makes sense, guys. Again, to recap everything, how to stop getting ghosted by prospects, how to increase show rate. Number 1, appointment reminders and automations. This is a no-brainer, something you can set up in one day. Just do it. Number 2, pre-call information. Send them materials and resources and videos, especially ones that pertain to any issues or bottlenecks that they said on an intro call that they have. Number 3, manual appointment confirmation the morning of the appointment. Number 4, conducting a discovery call or a triage call. And then number 5, working on the quality of your front-end marketing and your front-end lead generation. I really hope this helps, guys. I know this was kind of a deep dive topic, but I promise you, if you implement all 5 of these tactics that we talked about, as we have done in our own business, you will see a 10, 15, 20, 25% increase in show rate. Now, if we're talking about really dialing in the front-end MQL percentage, you may go from 40% to 80%. You may go from 50% to 85%. You may see a huge jump, right? But even numbers 1 through 4 that I talked about today will help you increase that percentage drastically. So again, I hope this helps you talk to more prospects, get more people on your sales calls, and then of course, we want to convert as many of those calls as we can. If you need help with that, be sure to check out the other videos on our YouTube channel. I have plenty of videos that talk about sales strategy, my 8-step sales script for agencies as well, and plenty of other resources and videos there. Having said that, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.